Hello and welcome to this brief video where I'm going to outline to you a roadmap of the Barefoot Coaching Program. This is the ICF Accredited Level 2 Postgraduate Certificate in Personal and Business Coaching. We've created a one-page roadmap which we're going to start with today, and we're going to just give you an idea about all of the component parts, all of the different things that are involved, and hopefully by the end of the video you can feel confident you understand exactly what's involved with our program. So let's go. So we're going to start with the roadmap itself. Here we have a visual of the entire experience, all of the different elements going from starting your coaching journey on the left right through to the deadline for enrolling for the postgraduate certificate on the right hand side. It's probably worth saying here a few things already. Over on the left hand side, the earlier stages of the program, a very important part of course is the taught program itself, and over on the right hand side is what happens after you've completed the taught program. So let's start the coaching journey over on the left hand side. The first thing that we're going to look at is the taught program itself. Before kind of going into a little bit more detail on that, it is worth saying that this is a closed cohort program. That means you stay with the same cohort from the very start of the program to the very end of the program. We do that really deliberately. We do that because we understand the learning that you can have from working with people with a whole range of diverse and different experiences of life. But also it allows you to build very deep relationships and, more importantly, to create the kind of psychological safety that is required for you to do this type of learning and this type of work together. Typically a cohort is no more than 15 people. In fact, on average, I would say probably 12. Within each cohort and within every session that you attend, you will always see two trained, experienced Barefoot coaches. It's worth saying a couple of things about all of our tutors. First and foremost, they're coaches who happen to be really great educators. They're all PCC credentialed. And again, credentialing is something that we might touch on at the end of this particular video, but effectively that means they're highly experienced and highly knowledgeable. So the taught program is divided into 3 modules, and within each of those modules you can see that effectively there are a number of weeks of learning that are taking place, everything from the introductory session right through to week 12. In each of those weeks you're asked to attend 2 half-day sessions. Those sessions run typically from 9:30 in the morning till 1:30 in the afternoon UK time. You'll probably notice a couple of things in here. The first is that bookended at the end of every module there is a reference to mentor coaching. Mentor coaching is in a way an opportunity for you to be coached and to observe your own coaching or to observe other people's coaching, holding that up against the ICF competencies. So a mentor coaching 1, mentor coaching 2, which happen at the end of module 1 and module 2, are in fact what are called group mentor coaching, where you attend and witness coaching in practice and you get an opportunity to stand back and really look at what's going on versus and against the ICF competencies, but probably more importantly to reflect on your coaching versus what you're looking at, which is really important. So there's a great learning there. Mentor coaching 3, well, that's similar, except instead of being in a group environment, this is a one-to-one mentor coaching session with a Barefoot mentor coach. Again, it's a focus on your coaching this time rather than observing somebody else's, and an opportunity to reflect and probably more importantly to learn about your own coaching versus the ICF competencies. Once you've worked through the whole of the taught program, you're effectively then at the end of what we call the kind of taught element of the program. It's worth saying that the timeline for that is typically 4 months. All right, so once you've attended these sessions, from the very start, the introductory session, right through to the end of week 12, you're probably looking at 4 months in total. It's worth drawing your attention to a couple of things. The first is from the very start of your coaching journey, not only do you start with the introductory session, but actually you're also making a commitment towards your own kind of self-study. So the self-study, reading, reflection, self-directed learning is a really important part of the program. We get lots of questions about, how much time should I allocate? Difficult to answer in fairness, but I would say on average, somewhere between 1 hour and 2 hours a week would be a good amount of time to put to one side to make sure that you can kind of do the self-directed study for yourself, the things that are really interesting you, or just frankly to consolidate what you're learning on the taught program itself. For those of you who may notice that about module 2, there's a little line here that talks about volunteer coaching. A really important part of the program here is an opportunity to work with people less known to you. You'll be doing loads of coaching on the program from the very start with your cohort, but actually there's something spectacular in the learning that you can have when you work with people who are less known to you. So we work with you to ensure that you get an opportunity to work with volunteers. We provide all the information you need to, and you actually find the volunteers between you as a cohort, and we can take you through all of that. And you're required to do a total of, or a minimum, should I say, of 13.5 hours of coaching with volunteers. Because you're in the real world coaching, then we also provide you with open group supervision. So that's very important. You're going to be invited to come along to an open group supervision, again with a trained, experienced Barefoot supervisor. And that supervision is an opportunity to bring anything that is coming up for you in your own coaching, probably the coaching that you're doing with volunteers, and to work through that and to listen into maybe some of the other challenges that people are identifying early on in their coaching life. By the time you've done that, then there is what we call a final performance evaluation. The final performance evaluation is kind of the pinnacle and a very fitting, respectful way to honour everything that you've learnt up until that point. It's a recording of you coaching somebody else, not somebody from your cohort, for a minimum of 40 minutes. And what you do is you record, audio recording, you send that on to one of our performance evaluators, one of our coaches and tutors. They'll evaluate it and they'll have a 1-hour call with you to understand your reflections on your coaching. They'll hold it up against the ICF competencies, and hopefully, as a result of you doing the work and us doing a good job on teaching, you'll pass. It's not guaranteed, but it's probably very important to say this will not be a surprise to anybody. By the time you've got to the point you're doing your final performance evaluation, you will have done a great deal of coaching already. Once you have completed the final performance evaluation, then you will be awarded the Barefoot Certificate of Completion, and you can definitely wear the badge of honour to say that you are a Barefoot Certified Coach, that you have completed an ICF Level 2 accredited program. So let's turn our attention to deadlines. The first is a deadline to complete the program itself. So from the time that you complete week 12, kind of pretty well the end of the taught program, you have 6 months in which to finish off your self-study, to get your volunteer hours sorted, to attend an open supervision session, and to submit and pass your final performance evaluation. So that's 6 months from the end of week 12. That is a deadline. Most people, actually, we encourage you to complete the program as soon as you can while it's really fresh with you. So most people complete the program within a couple of months of finishing the taught program, but you do have up to 6 months to do that. The second deadline also being aware of is a deadline around being able to enrol for the postgraduate certificate, which happens to be 12 months from the end of week 12. So congratulations, here you are a Barefoot Certified Coach, but what next? Well, there are a few things. The first thing to say is that as a result of taking the Barefoot program, you are also effectively eligible to go on and complete a postgraduate certificate, a university qualification with the University of Chester. Barefoot have been offering university approved education since 2001, and we do it for a reason, because we think it really deepens and broadens the learning for each of our students in particular. And in truth, it allows people to, again, achieve an academic qualification if they wish to, and go on to do even more. Many of the people that go on and do the PG Cert, for example, go on and do a master's, and we've even had recent examples of people going on and completing doctorates as well in coaching. So there are many good reasons to want to go on and do the PG Cert. The PG Cert, when we talk about going on to do it, it really involves two things. One is completing our program successfully, which you will have done at this point. The second is completing 3 academic reflective essays that allow you to take some of the learnings, ideas, concepts and tools that you learnt on the program and that you've learnt through your own self-directed learning, and apply them to your own practice. So actually it has a real practical use. Many people find their place as a coach as a result of their deep reflection that goes into these essays in particular. There is, of course, continued coaching development. We talk about ourselves in Barefoot as kind of a community of continued lifelong learners. And for many people, actually, the Barefoot program either strengthens or actually acts like a starting gun for what becomes a lifetime obsession with learning. Lots of things that you can do once you are a certified coach. We offer lots of continued coaching development, not least of which is once you've got some hours under your belt, you might be interested in going a bit deeper, for example, with team coaching. You can join our team coaching practitioner program. Over time and in the future, you might be interested in actually becoming a supervisor, so you can go through our postgraduate certificate in coaching supervision. You might even be interested in some of our other courses. A recent one, for example, is our certificate in grief and loss coaching. So there are lots of things that you can go on and do to keep your learning going. So finally, you might well work towards your ICF credential. And the ICF, by the way, is one of a number of global coaching organizations that's out there to further the professionalism and the quality and standards of the profession. The ICF stands for International Coaching Federation. Credentialing is really an indicator of your skills, experience and knowledge that you can tell the outside world about. It's a marker of trust, actually, for many people. A bit like with us, we're an accredited coach training program, and that accreditation hopefully gives you some level of trust in us, that we know what we're doing, that we've got the skills, experience and knowledge to be able to run and create a brilliant coach training program. In order to gain a credential, and by the way, I'd say, probably 80% of the people that come through the program ultimately go on and join the ICF and gain a credential of some kind. But in order to do that, you've already taken the first step by actually going through our program. You're then required to do a coach knowledge assessment, which is online, closed book assessment from the ICF, all around coaching competencies and the ICF Code of Ethics, which we will sign up to. And ultimately then, you have to get some experience under your belt, starting with a minimum of 100 hours that allows you to credential at the first level, which is Associate Certified Coach. But for now, that's it. That's the entire roadmap. And I hope that's given you a really good idea of all of the different parts involved in the Barefoot Coaching ICF Accredited Level 2 postgraduate in personal and business coaching. Thanks for watching.